Ever wondered about the epic showdown between the Israelites and the Egyptians? It's more than just a story. It's a foundational event that echoes through history, faith, and culture. Today, we're diving deep into this legendary conflict, separating historical fact from biblical narrative and exploring how this ancient struggle shaped the world we live in. So, let's set the stage. The story begins in the land of Goshen, a fertile region in ancient Egypt. According to the book of Genesis, this is where the descendants of Jacob, also known as Israel, settled. They arrived as a small family, but over several centuries grew into a large and prosperous nation. The Egyptians, initially welcoming, began to see this growing population as a threat. A new pharaoh, who did not know Joseph, came to power and, fearing their numbers and potential allegiance with Egypt's enemies, decided to enslave the Israelites. Life for the Israelites turned brutal. They were forced into hard labor, building cities like Pithom and Ramesses. The biblical text paints a grim picture of oppression, with taskmasters pushing them to their limits. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied. This led the pharaoh to issue a horrifying decree: every newborn Hebrew boy was to be thrown into the Nile River. It was an act of unimaginable cruelty designed to crush their spirit and control their population. It's in this dark and desperate time that a hero emerges. Moses. His origin story is legendary. To save him from Pharaoh's decree, his mother places him in a basket and sets him afloat on the Nile. In a twist of fate, he's discovered and adopted by Pharaoh's own daughter. Raised in the opulence of the Egyptian palace, Moses grows up as a prince, yet his heart remains with his people. The turning point comes when he witnesses an Egyptian taskmaster beating an Israelite slave. In a moment of rage, he kills the Egyptian and flees into the desert to escape Pharaoh's wrath. For 40 years, Moses lives as a shepherd in Midian. It's here, at the foot of Mount Horeb, that he has a profound, life-altering experience. He encounters a burning bush that is not consumed by the flames. From this bush, God speaks to him, revealing his divine name and commissioning him with a monumental task: return to Egypt and lead the Israelites to freedom. God promises to be with him and to show his power to the Egyptians. Armed with a staff and a divine mission, Moses, along with his brother Aaron, confronts the most powerful man in the world, the Pharaoh. Their request is simple: let my people go, but Pharaoh's heart is hardened. He refuses, mocking their God and increasing the Israelites' workload. This defiance sets the stage for a divine contest of wills, a battle between the God of the Hebrews and the gods of Egypt. This is where the 10 plagues come in. Each plague was not just a random disaster. It was a direct challenge to a specific Egyptian deity, demonstrating the supremacy of the God of Israel. The Nile, worshipped as the god Hapi, turns to blood. Frogs associated with the goddess Hecate swarm the land. Gnats, lice, and flies descend, overwhelming the people. Livestock die, boils afflict the Egyptians, and a terrifying hailstorm of fire and ice rains down. A plague of locusts devours what little is left, and a profound darkness covers Egypt for 3 days. The route de front to Ra, the sun god. Throughout these escalating calamities, Pharaoh remains stubborn. He might briefly relent, only to harden his heart again once the plague subsides. The plagues systematically dismantle Egypt's economy, social order, and religious beliefs, showing that its pantheon is powerless. The 10th and final plague is the most devastating. God warns Moses that the firstborn son in every Egyptian household will die. The Israelites are instructed to sacrifice a lamb and mark their doorposts with its blood. This act of faith, the Passover, would cause the angel of death to pass over their homes. That night, a cry of anguish rings throughout Egypt as Pharaoh's own son, along with the firstborn of every family, perishes. This ultimate tragedy finally breaks Pharaoh's will. He summons Moses and tells him to take his people and leave immediately. The Exodus begins. Hundreds of thousands of Israelites, a mixed multitude of men, women, and children, along with their livestock, leave Egypt. They are finally free after 430 years. But their journey is far from over. As they travel, Pharaoh has another change of heart. Regretting the loss of his slave labor force, he gathers his army, including his elite chariots, and pursues them. The Israelites find themselves trapped, with the Red Sea before them and the mighty Egyptian army closing in behind. Fear and panic set in. They cry out to Moses, questioning if he brought them into the desert just to die. But Moses reassures them, telling them to stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord. What happens next is one of the most iconic miracles in the Bible. Moses stretches his hand over the sea, and a strong east wind blows all night, parting the waters and creating a path of dry land. The Israelites walk through the sea with a wall of water on their right and on their left. The Egyptians, in their arrogance, charge in after them. Once all the Israelites are safely across, Moses again stretches out his hand. The waters return to their place, crashing down and completely submerging the entire Egyptian army. Not a single soldier, not a single chariot, survives. On the far shore, the Israelites witness the destruction of their oppressors. Their fear turns to awe and celebration. Miriam, Moses' sister, leads the women in a song of victory, a song that has been sung for millennia. Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. So, how much of this is verifiable history? This is where things get complex. There is no direct archaeological evidence from Egypt that corroborates the Exodus story as it's told in the Bible. No Egyptian records mention the enslavement of the Israelites, the 10 plagues, or the drowning of Pharaoh's army. Some scholars suggest the story might be a foundational myth, a powerful theological narrative about freedom and divine intervention, rather than a literal historical account. However, others point to circumstantial evidence. The period known as the New Kingdom in Egypt saw massive building projects that relied on foreign labor. Some documents, like the papyrus Anastasi, describe runaway slaves in the eastern desert. The name Israel does appear in one ancient Egyptian inscription, the Merneptah Stele, dated to the late 13th century BCE, which mentions that Israel is laid waste and his seed is not. This proves that a people called Israel existed in Canaan at that time, but it doesn't confirm the Exodus story itself. Regardless of the historical debate, the impact of this narrative is undeniable. For the Israelites, the Exodus became their defining moment. It was the event that forged them into a nation, bound together by a shared experience of slavery and a miraculous liberation. This event is the basis of their covenant with God at Mount Sinai, where they received the 10 Commandments. The Exodus is commemorated every year in the festival of Passover, a central holiday in Judaism that celebrates freedom and redemption. The story's influence extends far beyond Judaism. For Christians, the Exodus is seen as a prefigurement of salvation through Jesus Christ. Passover is linked to the Last Supper, and Moses is seen as a type of Christ, a liberator, who leads people from the slavery of sin to the freedom of eternal life. But the story's power isn't just religious. The Exodus has become a universal symbol of liberation for oppressed people everywhere. During the American Revolution, figures like Benjamin Franklin proposed that the Great Seal of the United States depict Moses parting the Red Sea. African American slaves sang spirituals like Go Down. Moses, identifying with the Israelites, struggle for freedom from their own pharaohs. The story has inspired civil rights movements, liberation theologies, and countless struggles for justice around the world. The battle between the Israelites and the Egyptians was more than a physical conflict. It was a spiritual and ideological war. It was about the struggle between oppression and freedom, despair and hope, human tyranny and divine power. It laid the groundwork for monotheism and ethical law, shaping the core beliefs of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. From a dramatic escape to a miraculous sea crossing, this ancient story continues to captivate and inspire millions. It's a testament to the enduring power of faith and the universal human yearning for freedom. Whether you view it as literal history, powerful metaphor, or a blend of both, its impact on our world is undeniable. It's a battle that was fought thousands of years ago, but its echoes still shape our understanding of justice, faith, and the very meaning of liberation. Thanks for watching. If you found this exploration fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into history and faith, and share your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.